Hi, so today I wanted to talk about one of my favourite subjects, meditation. And meditation is something I've been practicing daily for the best part of 20 years. So I always enjoy meditation. I look forward to meditation. Some meditations are better than others, of course. But if I don't meditate any particular day, if for any reason I can't meditate or I have to skip it, I just don't feel quite right. So meditation's become something almost like eating and drinking. It's become something essential to life, essential to my daily practice, to foster a sense of well-being and inner peace. And there are so many benefits that I could talk about. There are so many advantages to meditation that it would be a 3-hour long video to talk about them all. I mean, maybe 6, 7 hours or 10 hours, maybe all day. I mean, there are simply so many benefits to meditation. But for me, the most profound benefit is the ability to expand awareness and get access to all mystical, spiritual, and esoteric phenomena. So if you want access to the magical, the mystical, the mysterious, the profound, meditation will deliver that. Without meditation, without inner silence, it's not possible to experience these phenomena. I mean, one can think about them, but then one is still in the realm of thought. And thought is like a barrier. It is a barrier. It's not like a barrier. It is a barrier to experiencing these phenomena. And what are these phenomena? Energy, psychic phenomena, mystical phenomena, visions, extrasensory perception, supernormal abilities or powers like telepathy and psychic abilities, that sort of thing. I mean, there are about 10,000 supernormal abilities available to human beings, but they're simply locked away because we remain locked in ego. And it is ego which is kept in place by thought, thinking, right? When you think, the ego is in control. The ego rules as long as thought is present, right? But when thought gets out the way, there's silence. And it's in that silence that these phenomena manifest. So if you want to get access to the world of the magical, the world of the sorcerer, the world of the spiritual master, the guru, the teacher, the practitioner, the cultivator, then you have to do what they do and access inner silence. And everyone that I know practices meditation. Now, meditation is not just something that you practice for 15, 20 minutes a day or an hour a day, as I do, but something that you carry on into the rest of the day. So you want to maintain that meditative state, that serenity, that clarity, that power throughout your day. And when you go to sleep at night, you want to maintain that meditative awareness. So that when you dream, you become aware that you are the dreamer. You're not simply someone that's lost in a dream or identified merely as a dreaming body, but you are the dreamer. You are the one that's conscious of the dreamer. Right? So, inner silence sounds very simple, but it is the foundation of all spiritual knowledge. So what do I mean by spiritual knowledge? Knowledge that's revealed directly. Energy is just a word. The spirit is just a word, as is God, the divine, the Tao, the self, the Atman, so on. Silence is just a word. When I talk to you, I'm using words, I'm using language. But it's not the words themselves that are important, but the energy in the words, the intent behind the words that transmits from me to you the knowledge or phenomena that I'm describing. The descriptions are not the thing in itself. A description of the world isn't the world itself. It's a reference, a referent. Well, the thing is the referent, and words are just merely symbols. But to experience phenomena directly is the work of the practitioner, the sorcerer, the mystic. To experience phenomena directly and profoundly, one needs inner silence. Thought must be kept in abeyance. Now, you can't simply stop thought through will, because will is of the same mechanism as thought, so you're using thought to try and stop thought. So it's a kind of self-defeating prophecy, self-defeating mechanism, so to speak. You're trying to use thought in order to stop thought. You're using mind to stop mind, and it just doesn't work. Makes the problem worse. Because if I say to you, don't think of pink elephants in the sky for 5 minutes, all you'll think about is pink elephants in the sky for that duration, because I've planted that seed in your mind, and now that's all you can think about. When somebody says try not to think for 20 minutes while you meditate, and all you can do is get distracted by thought. So every act of letting go is an act of holding on. The letting go happens all by itself. The dissolution of mind happens all by itself. It's automatic when attention is paid to silence. When you just simply allow the mind to be and let thoughts be, you don't try to stop them. You just let them pass. Like logs in the river. And this way you don't attach to them, because it's attachment that keeps us in the mind stream, in the stream of the river. You have to detach. Again, detaching is not a matter of will. It's a matter of disidentification through simply paying attention to the silence, right? I sometimes say we don't pay attention, we pay with attention. So by attending to the silence and, paying your dues that way, the mind will dissolve all by itself. It will simply get out of the way because it doesn't have a hold on you anymore. The mind has a hold on you. You see? You don't have to hold on to it. It will let go of you if you stop paying attention to it. Trying to stop it is paying attention to it. See? So it won't happen that way. In order to get inner silence, serenity, and peace, and to experience these esoteric phenomena, to get access to secret knowledge, you have to simply allow the mind to get out the way. Because there's nothing special about me, you see, nothing special about any of us. You know, it's not about having a sophisticated mind and having the ability to metaphysically speculate about the nature of the universe, as philosophers do. It's not about intellect. So no amount of sophistication and abstraction is going to get you there. Again, that's all part of the mental stream, the mind stream. All of that has to float away. And then you see the vast ocean, the sea of awareness. And then your meditation really begins to bear fruit then, because you're meditating in action. It changes from meditation to meditating, from awareness to awareing. Becomes a verb, becomes something you do. It's the active side of infinity, as Carlos Castaneda would say. So there is only one source, right? To be a sorcerer is to connect with the source, the stream of pure intelligence. But you see, the mind is not intelligent. Intelligence is a quality or property of the universe itself. So only the self, the universe, is supremely intelligent. There is all the intelligence that you could ever require. So properly speaking, one who is in consciousness is perfectly aligned to the will of the universe, the true will, is supremely intelligent, knows everything in their essence, because it's not a question of, I won't be able to speak Russian or Greek because I haven't learnt it simply by being perfectly aligned to the will of the universe, but I can know the essence of everything as energy, as knowledge in the absolute sense, in the non-dual sense. Not talking about relative knowledge here. I'm talking about direct knowledge, silent knowing. And that's the only game in town, really, because the ego has to get out the way. All of our ideas about ourselves, self-image, self-aggrandizement, all the ways in which we esteem ourselves. I remember my mentor saying, they talked to us about self-esteem, but who could esteem such a self? It's too small, right? It's too small to esteem it. Why esteem something so small? Why not esteem the large self, the self that encompasses everything, that is all pervading, infinite, imperishable, indestructible, immortal? I mean, that's your true nature. That's everybody's true nature. So when you get rid of specialness, when you get rid of importance, you become more significant than ever, because your significance comes from the knowledge, the knowing that you are God, that you are the divine, that you are spirit, right? And meditation delivers us to that place. Well, it's not really a place. It's a state of consciousness. state of realization. It's your true original self, your true nature. That's the truth that all the mystics have been pointing to for thousands of years. Excuse me. Green tea always does that to me, But I hear it's full of antioxidants, which are good for the body. I know just a little word about the body. It's important to keep the body in impeccable condition, because the body, some spiritual teachers talk about the body, because the body is not who you are, then it's not important. So it doesn't matter what happens to the body, because you're not the body. The idea is to detach from the body and just become pure awareness. But I think that's a rather narrow view. I mean, Ramakrishna died of cancer. Ramana Maharshi died of cancer. And both endured at least great physical suffering, which was unnecessary. And the longer you have a body, the more time you have to cultivate and to realize the true nature of the self and universe. So you want to keep that body pristine, pure, and, well, as perfect as you can manage. There's no such thing as perfection in the physical world. The only thing that's perfect is the supreme, the divine. But while you're incarnated in the body, you're here to have a human experience, and you want to master the senses. You want to master your passions, your indulgences. All these things need to be managed successfully. That is success. To have balance, to have harmony, to have flow. And then once everything's in flow, then the process of ego transcendence can begin. Individuation is a foundation for self-transcendence, right? You can't transcend the self until you've perfected the self. I'm talking about the ego here. So you want to make the ego as integrated as possible. You want to make the body-mind as integrated as you can. That means perfecting the 9 domains. Now I'm going to explain each in turn. The spiritual, the physical, intellectual, creative, emotional, social, that's 6, right? Or what I call spices as an acronym. And there's ESP, which can fit into that acronym as well, which is the ethical, the shadow, and the practical. Now, if you get these domains in balance and you don't become excessive and you have a very even attitude about it, you can live a life of mastery and effectiveness. And that, to me, there is no greater success than that. I don't know anybody that's mastered the 9 domains. I know I haven't. But that's my goal. I don't care about career. I don't care about society. I don't even care what's happening in the world, really. What I care about is individuation and self-transcendence. Because I can't help anybody if I'm not powerful myself. I can't teach you anything if I haven't practiced these things myself. So that's what I've spent the last 25 years doing. Because I want to master myself. I don't see that there's any greater purpose on this earth. That's what we're here to do. I am convinced of that. If there's one thing I'm convinced of, it's that, and to do it with grace and elegance, So balancing and mastering the 9 domains. Get your spiritual life right, meditate, do your yoga, your qigong, your Pilates, prayer, mantras, tantras, chanting, or groups, or whatever it is that is your personal dharma, and do it every day. Make spirituality your priority, because it is the area of ultimate concern. So it is vitally important, and spirituality is what this world is sorely missing. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you don't have a spiritual dimension to your life, you're finished. Next is the physical. Get your diet right, exercise, get plenty fresh air, nature, spend time in nature, listen to the trees, the birds, the animals. There is great power and energy in nature. Find it. Keep your diet right. Keep the carbohydrates to a minimum. Don't eat sugar. Cut out, or at least cut down, alcohol. Get rid of the drugs and the smoking. They're bad for you. I can testify to that. Had years of experience. So, get your physical body right, in condition, and clean, and as pure as you can get it. Intellectual life, make sure you study, do independent research, because man's greatest enemy, I would say, is not his self-importance or arrogance, but his basic ignorance about the world around him. If you don't know where Siberia is, if you cannot point to Thailand on the map, then, I feel sorry for you. Do some reading. There's all the information. There's no excuse, We've got access to more information now than ever. Books, online books. The reading is such a pleasure. Find out about the world around you. Know biology, mathematics, geography, geology, history, astronomy, whatever it is. Follow your passion, but find out, have a basic knowledge of the world around you. It's so important. And intellectual knowledge is something that is severely lacking today. And if you don't have it, it's going to be a major handicap to be ahead of your game, So get reading, get studying. It's so much fun. The creative dimension, learn to play a musical instrument, learn to paint. Painting is such a joy. I love it. Do it every day if I can. Write. I love writing even more. Always have. I've written 5 books now, and I'm on to a 6th. Well, I'm doing illustrated versions now, and I love the whole process of writing, editing, publishing. Writing is such a joy. It's a great cathartic process. Creativity is, the Creator created us to be creators. We are the channel for that creativity. Doesn't come from me. Didn't come from Picasso or Van Gogh or Kandinsky or Mozart or Beethoven or Bach. Came from the source, pure intelligence of creativity. See? So get in touch with that creative intelligence. Find the Picasso in you, and you'll have a friend for life. Emotional dimension. Make sure you master your emotions, that you don't become fragmented and reactive and fearful, depressed, paranoid, anxious. All that can be purified through meditation, through diet, through right living. If you live rightly, you won't have any of these defects. And if they still exist, well, you can ask the Spirit, pray to God, the divine, whatever name you want to give it. He, she, it will erase them for you. Try it. Master your emotions. Manage your emotions. Don't become a victim of depression, of negativity. Don't allow yourself to be unhappy. It's a crime. Police every negative emotion as if it was a crime, like you would police your mind, as if every thought were a criminal offence. So, the next dimension is the social. You want to not be a part of a mediocre, corrupt society, because what's the point of that? You're just a cog in the machine. You want to revolutionise society, create a new society, write a new manifesto, be a revolutionary of the spirit. Now, there's many negative things happening in society right now that you don't want to be part of. You want to fight them with love, with passion, spread the truth, find like-minded souls, kindred spirits, create communities where love and peace and happiness can flourish. Master the social dimension. Be a stalker. I mean that not in the social sense. I mean that in the sense of being a warrior. Know how to use social situations to your advantage. Not to exploit others and to get ahead, but to master your self-importance, to point it right back at you, to use others as your mirror. If people point out your faults, well, don't defend them. Say thank you that they've shown you something and they've given you a chance. They've given you a chance to correct them. How could you not thank them? Thank them from the bottom of your heart then, because they've shown you something profound. But what do most people do? They go on defending their pitiful little egos as if they were fortresses. No. That only keeps us further entrenched in ego and attached to the small self. So that's not how we want to be using the social dimension. And the ethical is next. You want to, without virtue signalling, of course, it's a term that's popular now amongst the woke people, virtue signalling. Well, he's just looking for praise or for approval, for people to bolster his ego. But no, I'm talking about cultivating virtue, genuine virtue, compassion, empathy, love, forbearance, because these virtues are not taught in society. We want to cultivate beauty, truth, and goodness. Not ambition, but aspiration. Not success, but victory. Valedictory. To be valedictory is to win in a kind of sacrificial sense, that you've sacrificed something to gain something greater. In this sense, you've sacrificed the ego to gain the self. You've given up the small self to gain the greater self. Right? You with me? So, the ethical dimension is important. Be kind. Help others while you can. Do a bit of selfless service. Expect nothing in return. If you do selfless service, or you do help others, don't hang around for the encore. Don't let people know about it. Just do it for the sake of being impeccable. It's good for your soul. And it's good for mastering the ethical dimension. So moving on, the next is the side of the self that most people don't want to deal with, but sorcerers have to deal with, is the shadow, often referred to in Jungian psychology as the subconscious. un-Freudian as well, but Jung developed it further. And the shadow is all the things that we don't want to face in ourselves, so we relegate to the subconscious because they're just too painful to deal with. Now, if you think about something that you really don't like in a person, like arrogance or loudness or obnoxiousness, or they're a fearmonger or just a spiteful person, and you really, really get irritated, that person really triggers you in some way, that means that there's a projection going on into the towards that person. And that means that you actually have that defect somewhere lurking below the surface of your consciousness. It's in your subconscious or your unconscious, but you're not consciously aware of it, which is why you project it every time that you see it mirrored in someone else's behavior. So look for the things that you really don't like about somebody or something, and realize that that is something that is wrong in yourself. So if somebody's self-importance really triggers you, that means that you have an issue with self-importance. You're just not displaying it overtly or openly. Yeah, so that's something that you have to dig deep and excavate. And often these deeply buried emotions or feelings will be seen in dreams or witnessed in dreams, which is why writing down your dreams is also a good exercise for understanding the shadow. And talk to the shadow as well. By talking to it, you become acquainted with it. You become familiarized with it. And then it's like allowing your demons in the door, because then you can talk to them, find out what they want, and then you can bid them farewell. And that way you integrate parts of your energy that are lost in awareness somewhere. They're dissipated in the dark sea of awareness, or just relegated to some area of the energy body or cocoon. That's sometimes known in shamanism as soul loss. And the idea is to find these missing soul parts and reintegrate them. So that's a shadow. The last is the last domain of the 9 spices is the practical, and that kind of speaks for itself. Keeping your finances in order, keeping your house in order. As Jordan Peterson would say, if you can't clean your own bedroom, what good are you out there trying to change your world, telling people how to change your world? Like all these 18-year-old students who just live in a pigsty and tell other people how they should run their lives. If you can't keep your own affairs in order, what business have you got meddling in others' affairs, you see? So get your own house in order. Be practical, because that's how we become effective. Warriors are practical. Sorcerers are practical. Cultivators are practical. So that's the 9 domains. These can all be practiced in meditation, in action. So I hope this video was helpful. I would really appreciate it if you would like this video. If you liked it, subscribe if you want to. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.